people, my community. I hope you're doing well today. So, I am back with another deep and meaningful conversation rooted in love, compassion, empathy, and of course, shared wisdom. And I am here to discuss another topic, which are the systems, right? Last time I did talk about healthy masculinity and embodied femininity and how that's going to be tied to the system we'll be discussing this year. So, with that being said, first, it is important to understand the system does that are already in place, right? Because as mentioned, we are moving away from the old way of living and then trying to move from a newer way of living. However, we're not there yet. We're not in the new, uh, we are in the transitioning phase, which means there's lot of collapsing, right? A lot of chaos going on. So all of that is part of the transitioning. So there's this pull and push between the old and the new. So it's important that we choose where we want to be. And I do hope that everyone chooses the new way of doing things because that's more open-minded, um, and more welcoming because the old way are outdated. So anyway, so to get into these systems, it is important to keep in mind that there's a foundational layer, which is the environmental. Environment plays a huge factor. That's every system that's discussed here is tied to the environment itself. So with that being said, I'm going to divide these system into 3 layers for better understanding. So let's start with the first one. The very first system under the structural systems are government and organizational systems. So these are the government systems are how decisions are made, who controls authority, right? And how society are directed. So they literally make the big decisions. And oftentimes, although it is presented to us that citizen has a voice, uh, I doubt that. So the second one is legal systems. So these are the laws and accountability structured that defines what's allowed, how we're being protected, right, as citizen. And yeah, the opposite is happening right now across the globe. These systems in place, the legal system are failing us, especially when we're talking about immigration. So obviously we dive deep into this. And the third one on the structural power are economic, right? How money flows, um, how resources are being distributed, um, not fairly. The economy is one of the number one failed system right now. There's a lot of people that are having a lot of trouble when it comes to making a living, for example. A lot of people are in debt across the globe. So there's definitely a system that's being shaken up. So we'll dive deep into that as well. So again, this system shaped the external structure of our lives. So it's good to see that people are finally waking up and seeing that um, the changes that are being made is not for the greater good or for the citizen of a country. So they're deciding to speak up, which is a good thing. So, and that's going to continue to happen because, like I said, we're in this transition phase where people are tired and this system will change for the greater. It's going to take time, but we're going to get there as long as we stick together and work together. So people are finally realizing that we, the people, we have the power, right? So that's the one of the main way to literally confront this external power because people look at them as, they're above us, right? They're the authority that you don't mess around with. But yet they're the one that are screwing us up. So under structural, we have organization and government systems, we have the legal systems, and we have economic systems. So moving on to the second layer, the human development systems. Right? These are also referred to as, or I call them individual formation, meaning that these systems shape who we become as people. So the first one is educational system, a big one, right? So literally educational system are all about how we think, how we learn, how we develop skills. So we were taught from a young age that education equals to school, right? Go to school and graduate and get a job. And that's changing a lot, right? Now we have a lot of people graduating from school that are struggling to get jobs. So obviously the education system has failed us. I have a lot to say here. Oh my goodness. I do have opinions or perspective on this because there's a lot of subject that I felt like was a waste of time when it came to education because they did not serve us when we got out of school. So this is something to discuss. And obviously, we're seeing a lot of shift in that. A lot of people have decided to homeschool their children, and people have decided not to go to college. Obviously, go if you feel like you need to, but is it really necessary to go to get to where you need to be? So we'll unpack that more. Just know that the educational systems are also failing us. Next, health systems. Also, we can call it healthcare systems. So how we maintain physical and mental well-being, right? Also, how do we how do we get healthcare services? How are those services provided to us? I know I live in the US and the healthcare system, let me not get started on that right now. And it's true for many other countries. There's a lot of countries that struggle when it comes to healthcare, right? Resources are not distributed fairly, and people or citizens are expected to pay for healthcare, even if they're paying for taxes. And healthcare, I feel like, is a human right, right? No one should struggle to get that. But again, the healthcare system are failing us. So something we're going to be unpacking here. And third one under human development, our psychological system. I kind of touched up on this when I talked about healthy masculinity and embodied femininity because psychological, when I talk about that, I refer to our emotions, right? How they're formed, um, how we experience the world internally. And a lot of people have a lot of unresolved trauma, so which starts from childhood and then affect them as they get into adulthood because they have not addressed those traumas. And the environment plays a big factor into that. When trauma has not been resolved, that's how we see people cause harm into this world, like violence, killing each other. Right now, I don't know what's going on, but the news, what's trending are parents or grandparents killing children, their own children or their own grandchildren. And a lot of that has to do with unresolved trauma. People are not healed. People are not okay internally. So psychological system plays a huge factor here when we talk about human development system. So under human development systems, again, this shapes who we become as people, right? So educational systems, um, what is it? Health systems, and of course, psychological systems. The last layer here is coordination systems, right? So these are referred to as connections. So these systems shape our relationship, not just with other, but with ourselves. So the first system under coordination is cultural and religious systems. So these systems are known to have shared beliefs, shared values amongst people to guide meaning and behavior. But this has changed a lot. So people use religion to separate. People do not support each other's religion, or people, for example, don't feel welcome within the religion they practice. And what the leader preaches within these communities, people are questioning that. So again, a lot to unpack here. So that kind of make us question, where how can I find my community? So it is time that people start seeking community that they feel like they align with, and that's coming up. As I keep mentioning, this is the time of community. People are gonna start creating their own community. The next one here is media and system. So obviously, this is all about information, how it is created, how it is distributed, um, what is it that are being shared out there. Obviously, the first thing that I think about is social media. A lot of people rely on social media nowadays or everything. I would say, guys, question every little thing. In the world that we live in, just taking hearing one thing without doing your due diligence is, let's pause when you hear something, because information are flying everywhere. There's a lot of misinformation going on right now. So whether that's like in on media or social media, and obviously with the rise of technology, AI, and all of that, that's still new. Just remember that that's still new. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. So use your own discernment. So do your own research to ensure that the information that you're receiving is up to date, right? So obviously the rise of social media or the media or technology is a great thing, but it also has its cons. So just be mindful. A lot is coming at us pretty fast, pretty fast. So just be mindful. The last one is social and relationship systems. So when I talk about this, I'm referring to family structures, communities. Again, I touch up on this a little bit under culture and religious, but these are different, I guess, community groups and connection with one another. So when I say social, how is the family structure is going to change in the years to come compared to what we had, right? From the home and the way uh, uh, people choose to work, how just putting those two together, their personal and their professional life, how would those structure change in the next year to come, and how people would interact socially, all right? The rise of different communities and diverse community, how is that going to impact our day-to-day life? So all of those things are to start think it's important to start thinking about these things right now, because it's going to change whether we are ready or not. It's going to change in the next 5 to 10 years. There'll be a lot of change when we look back and see, wow, how far we have come. So again, under coordination systems, we have culture and religious systems, we have media and technology systems, and we have social and relationship systems. So this system is how we share ideas, information, sustain cultures, and build relationship in general. In a nutshell, that's just an overview of what the system that affect us in a day-to-day life. So like I said, we're going to break them down one by one. So next month we'll start with uh organizational and government systems. So with that being said, it is important to understand these systems. To recap, we are moving on and we're moving on. It's been a long time coming. It has been. People are just tired and crave change, even if it's not something that they're ready for. Uh, it is time that we accept these changes. There's this African proverb that I love so much. If you want to go fast, go along. But if you want to go far, go together. So again, this is more than an individual effort. Obviously, individualism comes first, but we are just at times where we need to come together. I know I keep talking about this, but it is important. Rebuilding these systems requires a collective effort. So it is time that we use our voices because that's the most powerful thing we have. And then act where we feel like we can contribute, right? Whether that's like in your local communities, talk, whether that's work, where you feel like you have ideas that would help, speak up. Whether this is in your households, where you feel like, okay, the old ways of living are no longer serving us, bring that up. Come together and talk about it and see how much of a difference it will make, right? So with that being said, I don't want to make this video too long. I don't like long videos, but I do hope that you understand where we're going with this. And I'll be back next month so we can start diving in to these systems one by one. Once again, take care of yourself. Love you much. And know that this is a community where you're always welcome. So please share in the comments. I would really appreciate if you start sharing in the comments. Let me know what you think about these videos. Again, this is a community. I would appreciate engagement, and let me know if there's anything you want to hear about or any constructive feedback. I'll take it. Again, although I'm the one here leading, this is not about me. This is about us the people. So with that being said, I love you all so much. Thank you again for being part of this community. Bye bye.